year was 1801, and on his last day in office, President John Adams sat at the Oval Office dealing with the Organic Act. He named 42 justices of the peace and 16 new circuit court justices for the District of Columbia. The point of all this? For the Federalists to take over before Thomas Jefferson got into office.
The Organic Act was an attempt by the Federalists to take control of the federal judiciary before Thomas Jefferson took office.
The act was signed by President John Adams, and it was sealed by Secretary of State John Marshall, who was also for the Federalist takeover in the judicial court. However, this document was not delivered before the expiration of Adams' term as president. The problem you have here with John Adams, him, along with this Congress, wanted to make the decision to pass this, or try to get this Organic Act to pass the last few days of his presidency, which was a huge mistake. If he would have done it earlier on in the presidency, it definitely could have passed, no problems, but he made a mistake. With John Adams' term up, moved in Thomas Jefferson and his Secretary of State, James Madison. James Madison delivered the Organic Act papers to Thomas Jefferson, but Jefferson refused to honor them, claiming they were invalid because they had not been delivered by the end of Adams' presidency term. Because of this, Jefferson did not approve of them, and therefore James Madison never delivered the commissions. Instead, he held on to them, and this caused a big conflict, which is known as the Marbury vs. Madison trial. Ever been looking for that drink just to quench your thirst? Well, now you have it. Triacra Purified Water is available in Giant Eagle now. Stay tuned after the show to see a short video premiere from Johnny Kelly and Jordan Matusik. So, in this Organic Act, John Adams appoints a man by the name of William Marbury as Justice of the Peace in the District of Columbia. Since the commission was not delivered, William Marbury never got the position, and this is why the case started. William Marbury was suing the Supreme Court to force the new Secretary of State, James Madison, to deliver the documents.
The court, with John Marshall as Chief Justice, found firstly that Madison's refusal to deliver the commission was both illegal and remediable.
In 1803, the Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice John Marshall, decided the outcome of the William Marbury v. James Madison case. It conferred the legal principle of judicial review, which is the ability of the new Supreme Court to limit congressional power by declaring legislation unconstitutional. The court ruled that the new president, Thomas Jefferson, and the Secretary of State, James Madison, was wrong to prevent William Marbury from taking office as Justice of the Peace in the District of Columbia. However, it also ruled that the court had no jurisdiction in the case and cannot force Jefferson and Madison to seat Marbury. The Judiciary Act of 1789 gave the Supreme Court jurisdiction, but the Marshall Court ruled the Act of 1789 to be an unconstitutional extension of judiciary power into the realm of the executive. So the problem with this case is you're going to have judiciary power clash with executive power, which they're not going to be able to make a decision on. So John Marshall argued that acts of Congress in conflict with the Constitution are not law, and therefore are non-binding to the courts, and the judiciary's first responsibility is to always uphold the Constitution. If the two laws conflict, Marshall said that the court bears responsibility for deciding which laws apply in any given case, so therefore the decision was ultimately up to Jefferson and Madison, and Marbury never got his job. Jefferson and Madison objected Marbury's appointment, along with all the other judges that John Adams appointed. Thank you for tuning in to our documentary for the William Marbury v. James Madison trial, and have a good night, world.